All right, folks, we have some major breaking news and a pretty huge update to a story that I covered on this channel just a few days ago, and one you probably saw in the media as well. I'm sure you've seen by now the clip of Donald Trump talking about Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre. She's one of the most well known victims of Epstein, and she was crucial in holding both Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell accountable. And Donald Trump was recently asked if she was one of the workers that Epstein stole from Trump and then eventually brought into his world of crime. And he said yes. He described her as being stolen. And that comment sent shockwaves through the United States because, one, Donald Trump has never admitted previously that Epstein preyed on girls at Mar-a-Lago for his crimes. But also, number two, describing this child at the time as being stolen is gross enough. And so now Virginia Giuffre's family has issued a scathing response to Donald Trump and his comments. It's been published in The Atlantic. It's widely been reported right now, and they did not hold back. So I want to get into the story with you and the response that they issued to Donald Trump. But before I do that, I should play the clip for you of Donald Trump talking about Virginia Giuffre. It's important context because they cite something specific that Donald Trump said in this clip. So let's listen to Trump and then we'll dive in.
Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. Just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
With some of them,
Were some of them young women?
well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken, and it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad, but that story's been pretty well out there, and the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young
Yeah.
women.
What did they do?
In the spa.
In the spa.
Yeah, it's people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago, and people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine, and then not too long after that, he did it again, and I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, that include Virginia Giuffre?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people, yeah.
Wow.
He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know.
He stole her, referencing Epstein preying on a minor who worked in his spa and then bringing that child into his world of crime. That is a stunning statement from Donald Trump. It's one that I'm certainly not over, and of course the Giuffre family is not over. They are disgusted by what Donald Trump said, rightfully so, because describing her as stolen is gross, but also it's pretty major that Donald Trump is now openly acknowledging this relationship with Epstein, because whether he is admitting to directly or indirectly facilitating Epstein preying on young women, it means that his property, his world in Florida was part of assisting Epstein in doing what he did. I mean, Epstein was preying on young women at Donald Trump's clubs and then bringing them in to his world of crime. And Trump himself, that's not the conspiracy, that's not me theorizing, that's Trump's own words. And it's also important to note the accusations that Giuffre made against Epstein and Maxwell. We'll quickly cover this to give you some context and then dive into the Giuffre family's response to Trump. Driving the news, this according to Axios. In 2009, under the pseudonym Jane Doe 102, Giuffre sued Epstein and alleged she was sexually exploited by Epstein's adult male peers, including royalty, while a minor after being employed as his personal masseuse. And she was employed as his personal masseuse after Ghislaine Maxwell met her at Mar-a-Lago. She received a $500,000 settlement with Epstein before the lawsuit went to trial. Meanwhile, she accused Maxwell of approaching her while she was working as a locker room attendant or in the spa at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in 2000 and later recruiting her for Epstein, which Donald Trump has now admitted. Prosecutors who brought criminal charges against Maxwell in 2020 accused her of lying in sworn depositions in 2016 that Business Insider notes were related to Giuffre's lawsuits against the daughter of the late UK media mogul Robert Maxwell. The judge overseeing the case agreed for Maxwell's two perjury charges to be deferred for a separate trial after the sex trafficking case, but prosecutors did not proceed with this after she was convicted. She also came forward publicly in March 2011 in an interview with British tabloid Mail on Sunday. She was interviewed by the FBI soon after doing that, and the birth of her daughter encouraged her to speak out more about Epstein's abuses. Now, let's get into the Giuffre family's response, because Virginia Giuffre took her life in earlier this year in 2025. So she's not here to respond, unfortunately, tragically, but the Giuffre family is responding on her behalf. According to The Atlantic, when Donald Trump told reporters yesterday that Epstein stole a young woman named Virginia Roberts Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago, her surviving siblings were shocked, not just because the president had described their late sister as he would an object, but because his comment raised the possibility that Trump might know more about his one-time friend's behavior than he previously acknowledged. Quote, and this is from the Giuffre's brothers and her sister-in-law, "It makes us ask if he was aware of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal actions, especially given his statement 2 years later that his good friend Jeffrey likes women on the younger side. No doubt about it," Giuffre's two brothers and her sister-in-law told The Atlantic in an exclusive statement, their first public response to the president. "We and the public are asking for answers. Survivors deserve this." That's a really powerful statement from the family of Virginia Giuffre, and the two main statements that really stuck with me in this kind of short response is that it makes us ask if he was aware of their criminal actions, and also the public is asking for answers. Survivors deserve this. I completely agree. Number one, Donald Trump's comments about Epstein taking Virginia Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago certainly raises the question of if he knew more, because the timeline is totally off. Donald Trump said his friendship with Epstein ended in 2004, but Giuffre was taken from Mar-a-Lago in 2000. And 2 years later, after she was taken from Mar-a-Lago, according to Donald Trump, he described her as a great guy who likes women on the younger side. That's really weird. That's really suspicious. And of course, the public is asking for answers that Donald Trump promised, and survivors absolutely deserve this. Whether it be Virginia Giuffre, whether it be Stacey Williams, whether it be Annie Farmer, these women, these victims of Epstein, they deserve this. They actually added onto the statement as well. This is Kyle Griffin from NBC News. "The government and the president should never consider giving Ghislaine Maxwell any leniency. Ghislaine Maxwell is a monster who deserves to rot in prison for the rest of her life for the extraordinary violence and abuse she put not just our sister Virginia through, but many other survivors who may number in the thousands." A really scathing statement from the Giuffre family. And they're absolutely right. It raises suspicions, it raises questions, and survivors, victims, families of these folks deserve to know the truth. Donald Trump is withholding that clearly for personal reasons. I mean, there's no other reason as to why he'd promise to release the files and then suddenly change his mind someday when he got into office. But the Giuffre family deserves this. All the people affected deserves this. The pressure on Donald Trump must continue. I'm not going to stop talking about it, and neither should you. So I just had to read you this statement. It's incredibly important for you, me, and everybody in this country to hear. So share it around. Let your friends, family, and loved ones know about this. I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about this response and this story. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.